Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we are going to do another character guide, and we are going to look at Cid Raines today. So, I know I'm a few days late getting to this one. I've just been like so busy, right? But I figured I'd at least get Raines' out. Maybe we'll do Steiner, we'll see, but I know there's going to be some new content dropping really soon, and I'm going to want to start covering those characters, right? But I did want to do a guide on Raines, because Raines is a very good character that I have personally used a lot, so I know his kit very well. The kind of ins and outs of how he works, and I think he can be a very useful character. He basically was useful all the way up until C90. Like, he never really became unuseful. Like, you could run Raines like his whole time. So he's insane. He's really good. So we're gonna go ahead. We'll take a look at the spheres. We'll do the artifacts, and then we'll just jump into the showcase here. Once again, very basic type of kit. Very easy to tell what to do on this guy. So for his artifacts, do attack 108, and then his basically his 2-star C50 passive. If you do all that times 3, you're good to go. Max Brave 330 if you can't get the one of those two, right? And then we're going to go ahead and check out the spheres here. So he's an A-sphere character. So basically what you want to do with him is attack and max Brave, or not max Brave, but Brave damage up. The thing with Raines, the big part of his gimmick though is he does follow-ups during a launch, and they ignore defense. So because he does a lot of defense ignore, attack is a little less important, so you'd want to go Brave damage up if you can. Now I'm going to be honest, my spheres here are not fantastic. Basically I think when Raines came out, I just like, oh, I'm just going to give him a bunch of like really good A spheres because I know he's good, not really like understanding what's good for him or not, right? So Edgar's sphere is actually like insanely good because it's 10% Brave damage dealt. The problem is it's on a debuffed enemy. Raines doesn't really do any debuffing, right? So it kind of doesn't make sense. However, in today's game, like, odds are somebody in your party is debuffing. So as long as there is a debuffed enemy, this will still work. So I actually am not too mad that I put Edgar's on him. I mean, it would go better on a character that does debuffing themselves, but I'm actually okay with that. The other thing with Raines is he does a lot of launching, right? So any of these smash attack ones or these smash whatever A spheres, those can work good on Raines because him and his teammates around him are going to be launching like crazy. So the smash spheres are actually pretty good. So I gave him his own, which is attack 2%. Realistically, I would look through mine and find more Brave damage ones if I could, but that one's not too bad. And then this is a max Brave attack one. Kadaj, it's another debuffed enemy. It's fine. At least it's not when inflicting a debuff. So it's just as long as there is a debuffed enemy present. So like the Kadaj and the Edgar could work. I do think Edgar's is actually a really good choice because the Brave damage is really important on Raines. I mean, that's his best stat. And Edgar's does provide a lot. Just make sure someone on the party's debuffing, right? So that's what I've got there. So yeah, look through your spheres. Go for attack Brave damage, but shoot for more Brave damage if you can. And then if you have any of these launch spheres, those work really good on them, right? Okay. Another side note here before we jump into the showcase. So Raines works really well with turn manipulators. So Aphmau in the past was what you always ran, but now that Rem got her update, I think Rem is actually a really good partner. So we're going to run Rem with Raines in this. And then the other thing is anytime you're running like a Raines-centric team or a launch-based team, I do recommend bringing the Pandemonium Summon because it's going to really increase your damage during launching, which is what you're doing, right? So let's go ahead and hop in with this team here. Friend will just bring whatever. Sure, this Tidus looks good. Just grab something. All right. So for those of you unfamiliar with Raines, basically he is a launch-based character, and he does have a couple. Basically with Raines, you just keep launching, you keep recycling. You mainly just want to make sure that you're keeping your eye on a couple of buffs. Okay. So he's got a couple of really, really important buffs here. So this Cavalry Commander is like probably his most important buff. This gives him the Impact Strike follow-up. So what he has that's very unique is that at the end of a launch that he initiates, he will do this Impact Strike attack, which does a lot of damage and it's defense ignoring. You do not ever want Cavalry Commander to fall off. And this comes from Ruinga Storm, his 15 CP. So you basically, you're pressing the 15 CP to refresh that whenever you need to, okay? His LD also provides a very nice buff that just helps increase his damage during the launches, so you really want to keep that buff up as well. And that's called I Too Will Challenge My Fate. So these two buffs, you just want to make sure these aren't dropping off or you don't lose them. If you had to choose one or the other, you want to keep the cavalry commander up at all times. Okay, so we're gonna hop in, and so what Reigns does is, what makes Reigns combo so well with a turn stealer or turn manipulator is the way they can interact, because Reigns himself is a turn manipulator. So Reigns, through cavalry rush and his LD, can turn manipulate. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by, let's just go ahead and throw some debuffs on for fun. But you can see we've got Reigns followed by Garnet, and then Rem's a little slow, like Rem's back there, right? So what you kind of do is you kind of ping pong the two turn stealers together. And so like what we would do is we're going to ping pong Reigns and Rem, and then we would just let Garnet sit there. Now, obviously we would want to like let Garnet get her buffs up and stuff first, but I'm going to start the demo it since I just kind of have it set up here, right? We'll just do as AA. It's a pretty generic one, just gives buffs and boosts, so, you know, go ahead and do that. So we're going to use the LD Heavenly Fist. So like I said, this gives him that I too will challenge my fate buff. And then what it does, when you click it, you get to choose a team member to bring up to follow him up right after, okay? The other thing a Heavenly Fist is going to do, it's going to launch the enemy, and it's going to make other enemies launchable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull Rem up, and it'll actually pull two party members up. So if they were both behind, it would pull both of them up. And so you're going to get the chain attack, right? And then we'll attack, and then Reigns will go in at the end, and this is the impact strike, which is really strong. It always feels really good because it's defense ignoring, right? And then basically we have Rem up, and then Rem could just turn around, and Rem could bring Reigns back up. Now, I do kind of want to get Garnet's buffs going here a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and play around a little bit. I want to get Garnet up and get her stuff on to make Reigns look a little bit better, so we're going to do that. Okay, so we got that. All right, and then Rem, let's just go ahead and we'll do this, and then we'll maybe pop the LD here. Yep. Okay, and then we'll do that. All right, and then once we get Garnet stuff set up, then what we'll do is we'll just try to ping pong between Rem and Reigns. And then the nice thing is that when you have a character like Garnet, you can just let her sit there. Her auras are doing what they need to do, right? So let's do this. And the thing with Garnet that makes this team comp really good is she's going to enable a lot of Brave gains. That's going to make the, like, all these launches are just going to be insane, right? So let's go ahead and put this on. Let's put that on. I won't even do her call. Okay, we'll do that. And then we're going to go ahead and do that. So yeah, Reigns, a lot of launching, a lot of damage. He also has some other tech in his kit that we'll talk about with the EX, which is really, really nice that he has as well. Pretty much with Reigns, what you want to do, as long as you're not upkeeping buffs, you pretty much are using Cavalry Rush as your main attack, because then you're always just pulling your allies forward and staying in front of the enemy. And like I said, in this team comp here, you're basically going to be doing that with Rem, right? Okay, so now we got to the point, and this is really good. And then after the LD here, we've got a free turn as well, okay? The other thing is Reigns also has an HP attack Heavenly Fist. It's basically going to launch and delay as well. That's the other thing I should mention. So his LD buff, it also makes it so any attack he does launches, basically. Because not all of his attacks inherently would launch. I think Cavalry Rush and his LD will like cause a launch, but like Ruinga Storm normally wouldn't, but because he's got the LD buff on, it will. So let's go ahead and let's just do, so let's use Cavalry Rush. So this is like I said, if you're not upkeeping a buff, this is basically what you want to use. And you see Cavalry Commander and the I2 will challenge my fate. That's what you want to keep up. So let's go ahead and Cavalry Rush, and now we're going to pull Rem up. So we're going to pull Rem up. Now this is going to be a really nice fat launch. And because we've got Garnet working for us now, like you can see, we're like Cat Brave going into it. And we're just going to be doing fat damage. So how much damage do we got here? Yeah, so 1.3 mil on a launch, right? So we're doing that like every launch basically, right? So now Rem's going to come up. And now Rem, what we can do, actually I kind of want to heal, so let's just pop off a cure, sure. Let that go off. Let that go off. Okay, but now kind of the shenanigans begin, right? Because now Rem says, I'm going to swap turns with Reigns. Now Reigns is up again, right? And then you guys can see what's going to happen next. Reigns says, oh, well, I really like Rem, so I'm going to bring Rem back up, right? So now Reigns says, okay, well, let's Cavalry Rush and let's bring Rem back. And basically, they're just going to keep ping-ponging like this, and you can literally just, like, no-turn fights. This used to be done with Aphmau, but Aphmau, like, did, like, no damage. Rem actually does damage, which is, like, good, right? Because you're getting that Siphon Sphere follow-up every time. But yeah, so here we go. Here's Rem again. So now I could actually do an attack with her, but no, let's just keep swapping turns. So let's bring Reigns back. Okay, and then I want to show off what Reigns' EX can do here, right? Okay, so Reigns' EX is kind of crazy because it comes with a cleanse and a dispel on it. So you'll see that the enemy's got 2 buffs and we got 2 debuffs. So let's use this. This is the EX here. And then we launch again. Now, Seraphic Ray, I believe, doesn't inherently launch. I think we're getting that from the LD buff. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So we did that. And now you can see our debuffs are gone and the enemy's buffs are gone. So, like, that's really nice tech to have in the kit. Reigns without that would still be really good, but that just makes him even better, right? So now, since we don't want to worry about the enemy messing with us, let's just do a summon here to kind of get through the rest of the showcase. Okay, and then Garnet, you go ahead and do your thing here. Sure. And then Rem, of course, we can swap turns. We can just keep abusing this. I do think, too, like, the Rem version of this setup has a lot more longevity than the Aphmau version. Oh, forgive me, my phone's a little low here, but we'll keep going. I feel like Rem's got a little bit more longevity in this combo as well. So, yeah, so we've got that. So we showed you Heavenly Fist. We talked about that. We did Cavalry Rush. All right, now it's probably about time to do Ruinga Storm. Yeah, see, Cavalry Commander's at 1. So we got to use it now. Otherwise, we're going to lose our Impact Strike. So let's go ahead and do Ruinga Storm. So obviously, you have to do this once in a while. Now we can't pull Rem up. But that's okay. Now we just refreshed. As long as one of the 2 characters pops up before the next enemy turn, you can still keep the combo going, right? And, you know, God forbid, you just let the enemy get a turn once in a while. That's fine, too, right? All right. So, yeah, the enemy putting more buffs on, doing a bunch of stuff. Reigns can take care of that when he gets his EX up again. Actually, I didn't mean to do that with Garnet. That was bad. I meant to do the LD. All right, so let's LD. There we go. That's what I actually meant to do. But yeah, we could take a look at the Heavenly Fist HP attack, and then that's basically his whole kit. So pretty much what you're doing is you're maintaining buffs. You are turn manipulating with Cavalry Rush, using the LD periodically to refresh the LD buff. So since Reigns is coming out, we can go ahead and use Rem's EX here. Use the EX if you need that spot, dispel, or cleanse, whatever you need to do. And then you just, yeah, you're basically just upkeeping the buffs and doing a bunch of damage during launches. That's really all this is, right? So sure, let's use this Heavenly Fist attack. So this should launch as well. Yep. And then that did just do like a little delay on the enemy there. Perfect. Yep. And then let's just end it with another LD, but you can see the boss is basically dead at this point, just basically showing off his whole kit, which is typically how these garbage time showcases are going, right? So sure, let's Heavenly Fist. We can leave Rem in the front, do another big attack. So yeah, anyways, guys, let me know what you think of Reigns. I know a lot of you probably had him from the first time he dropped. I know mine was already blue armor, so it's kind of fun just getting the C90 Reigns, and he's really good. But if you like launching and you don't have him yet, like, he's definitely a good pickup, especially if you have Rem as well, because I think that is a really good combo. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you all in the next one.